All right. Welcome back to our shitty podcast.
Welcome
with
back.
Shitty Sahil and Amazing Jackson.
Welcome back to the shitty house where we record some amazing stuff, which Jackson's not very, is not very appreciative about.
Bro, you love this house. You're not appreciative of this house.
I love recording the podcast.
You love
the
this
house,
place.
maybe not.
This place is amazing.
Well, I'm here because I'm obliged to be here.
Compared to your crappy little one bedroom in someone else's house.
There are other people living in the house.
Yeah.
And this podcast, when it goes public,
Yes.
so you're calling my house shitty.
Yes.
It means you're calling 5 other people their house shitty.
Yes. Because you came here and you told Nikki that this house wasn't crappy, and you were just saying it.
What I say to Nikki is my business, because she okay, all right. I have to say, okay, this place is good, but you didn't make it.
Yes, I did.
You did move in with Nikki, but you didn't make it.
What do you mean?
You didn't make it. It's all her, it's all her effort into making this place.
That is a lie.
Yeah. Right, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 3rd episode of The Informed Halfwits, where Jackson and I, the halfwit and the informed, we talk about something, some general things that happen around us. Last week we talked about gaming, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
The week before that, we talked about the retail experience.
The lovely retail experience that we both go through.
And for those of you who have passed on comments, thank you so much for listening to us for about, 25-30 minutes.
Not the first episode, that was about an hour and 3 minutes.
But you have to say, I did a good job bringing it down to 29. So we recorded for 44 minutes. I brought it down to 29.
So Hill thought it went for 14 minutes, which is why I am now in charge of the recording process and keeping time.
I will not deny. Yeah, that is true. Okay, have you started the timer yet?
Yes, it's working.
Okay, cool. The timer, not
Yes.
the recording.
Of course, I've got my eye on the time.
And if you're wondering why it's so dark, it's because we started the podcast recording process at 3 o'clock. But in this shitty house where nothing works, especially his laptop...
You mean Sahil is unable to use GarageBand to record a podcast?
It wasn't
He has
working.
no idea about how to do anything.
It's your...
It is now what time?
It is 5:46.
It is 5:45.
It's 5:46.
It's time for bed.
It's... For you, I would assume, yes, it's time for bed.
So what brings you here today, Sahil?
Yeah. Well, firstly, I'm obliged to record a podcast.
You're
It's
not.
an agreement.
There is no signing of any contract. We went through this on the first episode. There's no
contract.
There's no contract.
Right? So why are you here then? He enjoys the podcast.
I am here
ladies and
because I'm
gentlemen.
at home.
It's proven.
You turned up at my doorstep and said it's podcast recording day.
Okay, that's why you moved furniture. You made lunch for me.
I made lunch for myself. You moved your own furniture and set up.
Right, so that reminds me of how you moved in. And I believe that's what we're going to talk about today. Then.
Adulting.
Adulting.
Being an
Do you
adult.
really like that word, adulting?
No, it's a bit weird. Makes me feel cringy, but hey.
Someone at work recommended the word adulting.
I think coming out of being a young adult / teenager and moving into adulthood.
Yeah.
I guess that happens as soon as you turn 25. It's all downhill from here.
In other words, getting old?
Getting old. That's it. That's what's happening.
Nah, I don't think so. Because there are a lot of things that change with time. Like, for example, you moved in. So, I'm not
moving
sure
out for the first time.
Yeah, moved out for the first time. And I'm not sure if you mentioned that this is an entirely new place.
It is.
For you guys.
Recently moved out. It's only been a month and a half, 2 months.
Uh-huh.
Exciting, I guess.
Yeah.
But yourself, you just moved a couple of weeks ago from
Yeah.
a completely different suburb to one that's
absolutely.
closer to work because you love work that much.
I do love work that much, yes, and I moved, so yeah. So, moving out has been a part of our lives, I think, in the last month. It's been hectic, and I'm glad we've got time to record the podcast.
I mean, how long did it take you to settle in once you moved out? That's probably the main thing.
Yeah.
Moving into a new place is great and all, but the time from moving into a place to making it somewhere that you feel comfortable and you sort of you're used to, I guess.
Honestly, I haven't still, felt I haven't made myself home yet because I'm still learning about the environment, like the appropriate level.
Because you're currently in a share house, so you do have other housemates living in, and they do come in and out of the house. Absolutely. But you do have your own room, basically, which you can make your own space. Yeah. And I guess how is it going with like learning the rules of the house? Like, what was the first thing you said when you walked into the house was what? What was the first thing you noticed?
I think the first thing I noticed was there were no locks in the house.
Yes.
I think that's also a good sign, maybe, because I think the place where I live, it's sort of like a family environment. You trust the people in the house more than you trust people outside. Yeah. And I like that sort of environment, but yeah, it's just new experience.
Now, the one other thing is there's no lock on the door in the bathroom. So what is the door rule?
So knock before you enter.
Knock before you enter. Otherwise, you're going to walk in on someone doing
it's
whatever it is they do in the bathroom.
It's a complex process, I would say, for something you do every day. Yeah. But still, it's a brand new experience.
Because as soon as you came to my house, you started locking doors for no reason.
It's a new experience now.
Just because you're so excited that there was a lock on the door.
That's you start missing the things that you do every day. Yeah. So that's How about you? What were the challenges when you first moved in?
Well, the first big challenge was telling my parents that I was moving out. Because it was the first sort of ever time that I was going to sort of leave the house, I guess, for good. And they didn't take it very well, but they did sort of learn to accept it. So, explaining the whole situation, like, weddings and all that sort of stuff. So, we're having a wedding soon. So it was to move out. So we're ready. So when the wedding happens, it's all sort of smooth sailing from there. So.
And by the way, I just got invited last week. So
I don't know why I invited you. I think you just saw the invitation on the fridge and you took it.
Yeah, I just took it home and then RSVP'd myself.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't remember giving you my mobile number either.
Yeah, I agree. Like moving out and then telling your family, like breaking the news must have been hard.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, they accepted it because what are they going to say? No.
Absolutely. Yeah,
exactly. But it was more of a, this is what's going to happen. Yeah. Because I'm the oldest son, so it's like the first instance of that happening for them. So it was, I guess it was all new to them as well.
Mm-hmm. I remember like a few years back, many years back, when I moved from Nepal to Australia, my sister was excited. Like she was all happy during the process, and then the day came. Yeah. In the airport, she starts crying.
Because it also, until then, it was all just a thing that was going to happen, and then all of a sudden,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. This is the last day.
And then they see me walking in the departure gate, and then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and then you turn.
Never
your phone
return.
Off. Yeah, maybe you make one call from inside, but that's it.
Yeah.
And then So moving out is fun. Moving anywhere is fun. The brand new experience that you have, and it's also a major part of. Adulting.
You don't want to use the word. Why not?
I don't. Find me a better word then. It's better than adultery that you suggested.
Adulthood.
Adulthood, yeah.
Moving into adulthood.
Yeah, or coming of age.
Nah, adulting sounds better. I like the word adulting.
Okay, adulting. We'll stick with adulting, man.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, what sort of responsibilities come with being an adult?
Yeah, I think
one of them would be moving out. Yeah. It's one of those things where now you're in charge of your own space. And this is your area that you got to control and make sure you pay bills and
absolutely the bills start flying.
All the fun things that come along with moving out of home.
Yeah, I think it's the first thing that really you gotta take care of is finance. Yeah, I mean there's nothing without money, and you've got to have money to sort of do the everyday things that you want to do.
Exactly.
Buy the things that you want to buy, and most important, pay rent.
Yes.
So,
I mean, rent works out to be a quarter of what I earn or a third of what I earn every week. As soon as I get money, it goes straight into the rent sort of bank account, and that goes every Tuesday. That goes and it's gone.
It's gone, and
it's not coming back.
Yeah, it's not coming back. While that's happening, you're working, you're earning money. You also got to allocate time for personal commitments.
Yeah. So you've got friends. Yeah. That's the other thing with becoming an adult. Yeah. Your friend list that used to be however big in high school, because you saw them every single day, starts to shrink by one or two every single year, and then by the end of it, you've got 4 or 5 people that you actually hang out with, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you're trying to organise one day out of the week where all 5 friends are free, to be able to sort of hang out and do something.
Yeah. But those 5 friends, they're gems. Like they're
the
stick
ones
with
that
you for years.
They're the ones that you keep.
Yeah, you keep. And then regardless of their flaws, regardless of how much of they are, you keep them. Like you use.
Well, there's like a thing where if you have a friend for more than 7 years, then they're gonna most likely.
You should stop using Facebook, man. You should stop scrolling Facebook.
What else am I going to do with my time? I thought you quit Facebook. Except you keep tagging me in things out of nowhere.
I tagged you. The last thing I tagged you was on what? I think the Asian life hack where you eat noodles. You haven't seen it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
You said this is your lunch hack.
The budget lunch hack. You missed the word budget.
But you told me merely like a week ago that you were quitting Facebook for good and you weren't going to use it ever again.
Yeah. Well, that's...
and then I get a tag at 2:00 in the morning on a Thursday to say that Sahil has tagged you in a meme. And I was like, okay. I thought he quit.
They don't say that. They don't say you've been tagged in a meme. It's not officially recognized.
That was what the page was called, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm not too
something
sure.
Meme something.
Yeah, but I do know you spend most of your time, like not just all your time in Facebook. How do you manage personal commitments like friends and, your fiance, your wedding that's approaching soon?
WhatsApp, Messenger. I guess when it's harder and harder to plan things, but it's. When you get a regular work schedule, I guess you can sort of fit things around that more easily.
Yeah.
So now that I know that I'm working, say, Thursday to Monday, I definitely know that I've got 2 days off.
Yeah.
And I can plan things around those 2 days. So I guess it's being a good time manager.
Yeah, and you spend an entire Wednesday with me.
I know, it sucks. You've wasted one of my Wednesdays every 2 weeks.
Well, if your laptop was working, if your house wasn't such shitty, we would have finished already.
It's got nothing to do with the house. It's because you don't know how to use GarageBand.
Nah. Well, we fixed it. Is it recording?
It is recording.
Thank goodness for that.
Good, because I'm not going to do this ever again.
That's what you said the first time we did a podcast. Yeah. So is this a sign that just the fact that we're having this conversation, is it a sign that we're getting? Is it old age? I wouldn't say old age, but are we getting older?
I guess you're getting older.
Yeah?
You are, 100%.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, what sort of... If we would... Say we were recording this podcast when we were 18. What sort of topics would we be talking about? Would we be talking about
drinks?
Moving out of home and... No, we were talking about what sort of party you went to on the weekend and how great it was.
Yeah.
So I guess...
And the party you're going tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess now it's... The experiences are changing.
Has changed.
And the responsibilities are changing. Yeah. So the things that you would talk about...
Absolutely.
And the conversations you have with other people are different. I noticed that with friends as well. So conversations aren't about, what we're doing on the weekend. It's I'm at work doing this at work sort of thing. So conversations have sort of shifted.
Absolutely. And the hangovers, they start, getting worse.
If we were doing a podcast, we wouldn't be doing it the day after we went out drinking. No way.
No way. So I think if we were 18, we would have been, maybe drinking just now and then, hell with all the responsibilities, that sort of thing. But so hangovers, I think, is one key.
And I guess the other thing is that another sign that we're growing up is you're graduating from uni now.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah.
You've done not only did you do your first degree, but you did a master's, and now you're finished. So
I do remember one particular day in grade 10 when I failed a few subjects on one day. Like I got results for a few subjects in one day, and I kept thinking about the day I would graduate.
Yeah.
And that's next month.
Yes.
That was about 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's next month now. That's happening.
It's all coming to a close.
Yeah. So you time passes, and with that, interests start changing. The things you thought was your innate interest, like your hobby, your passion, you think maybe you start filtering interests out. Yeah. For example, I used to game a lot. Like I was a huge gamer. I still am, but I've started, keep making time for other things as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So interests do keep changing. Yeah, with that. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what my interests were back when I was 18.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to become a member of a band and make it rich.
I think that's everyone's. If you were a member of a band, which role would you prefer?
Oh, I used to play the bass.
Bass?
Yeah. So I was a bassist.
Really? I've never heard someone say it.
No, because my dad is. My dad's in a band.
Still?
Yes.
Oh my god.
We should go see him.
When is he playing? Where does he play?
He played on Friday at Oatley.
Really?
At the pub.
Let's go, man.
Yeah. He's in like a cover band, so they play
that's that's what your dad's doing is the dream. The dream of the boys. You know, when you're old, you're still playing.
And I mean, he gets paid for it. So I mean, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So he was the one that sort of got myself and my brother into music. So when I was like 15 or something, he gave me my first bass, and then that was sort of the.
Do you still play? I've never seen you play anything at all.
No, I still play. I mean, I don't have one here. That's the thing. So I guess I've got to go and buy one and buy a little amp, and then I'll kickstart my interest.
I would want to play the drums. Like it's just I don't know. I've never played
You're
drums.
Aggressive and violent.
No,
and you need to bash things.
I'm just passionate about music. That's it. It's just I like the beats, and then I like how the drummers in every band they're just sitting there, and then they're so passionate about what's being playing. It's just
my brother plays the drums, so he has a drum kit at home.
I think it's a stupid question, but is it hard to play drums, or what is it?
Drums is really difficult because it's not only like with guitar and stuff, it's your hands and your arms and stuff. Yeah. Whereas with drums, it's your whole body has to get into it, and not only is it all moving, but it's all moving independently. Yeah. So you got your right arm out here, and then your left arm over here, and your legs are flailing around at the same time. It's hard to sort of coordinate all of that to make it sound like a good piece of music. Yeah,
that reminds me of using your body a lot. That reminds me of bedtime. So after this podcast, I can't wait to go home.
So you've never used your body in bed. Don't lie to me.
What I meant is, I think it came out wrong, but what I meant is, thinking of exercises, it reminds me of how, as an adult, I try to go back to bed at a reasonable time.
Tell me your bedtime when you were back in uni.
Honestly, I used to game till 2:30 in the morning, and then wake up at 6 o'clock, go to college or uni, whatever. And now I can't.
It's ridiculous.
I would rather watch a TV series laying in bed until 2:30 than do something that requires some energy. Yeah. I think that's adulting. Yeah.
Going to sleep at a reasonable time.
Yeah. Well, you've been complaining about going to sleep and ending this podcast and stuff.
I'm so keen to go to bed, and it's only 6 o'clock.
Yeah, and what my suggestion to you is, kind sir, that don't go to bed. You've got to go to bed at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I will. But I'm just saying. I mean, back in the day, how many assessments did you ever get done the day before? Or the day of? Staying up till like 7 o'clock in the morning to get something finished. A lot. I don't think I could ever do that anymore. Yeah. Even coming to the end of my sort of uni degree, I was unable to stay up, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hand it in a day late. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, you realize that sleep is important.
It is. I feel like I'm at a crossroads, but then you can't help but compare yourself to other people. Yeah. So you have all your friends that might be starting that sort of track to being successful, and you're like, well...
Yeah. I think the responsibilities that you have are amplified when you cross 25. I think in my strong opinion, if you have someone, let's say for example you have 21, if you have the same responsibilities, I don't know, you're 21, you're still so young. But when you're 25, you're crossing 25, going to 26. Like I'm 26. Next birthday I'll be 27. Now look at that, 26 to 27. That's a huge jump.
Yeah. It sounds worse.
Yeah, it sounds so
before you know it, you'll be in your dirty 30s.
Yeah, and then you're in 55 one day.
But you said the other day that your life doesn't really start until you're 30.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. They say life starts at 30.
But back in the Middle Ages, that was you were like peak life at 30.
What do you mean?
Well, in the Middle Ages, when you used to die at 40.
But this isn't the Middle Ages.
No, I'm just saying.
It's modern day Australia.
How can you 30 years old, back in the day, that was it. Yeah. You made it to 30, you're going to die soon. Yeah.
But now, I'm looking forward. I think we have we're 25, 26. We have a certain, thought structure that we think that life is going to be this, life is going to be that. I'm sure it's going to be different at 30. We're going to have different interests, different sort of mentality. We're going to maybe save more, get better jobs.
There's a perception, I guess, that's instilled in us from young that you go to school,
Yeah.
You go to high school, you go to university, and then you become an adult, you go and get a good job, and you start your life.
Yeah.
If you really follow that, you're supposed to start your life at 21. What were you doing when you were 21?
Like, no, nothing. Like, just gaming.
Sitting in the mountains of Nepal, playing games.
Yeah, we'll talk about the misconceptions later about mountains of Nepal. You're not the first person who's asked me that. But, nah. So, anyways,
that's the thing. So, at 21 years old, if that's when you finish your uni degree.
Yeah.
Technically, you do, like, 3 or 4 years of uni.
Yeah.
You finish school at 18, you go to uni.
Yeah.
You finish at 21, 22.
Yeah.
Were you really ready to start your life at 22?
No, not really. I started a new job. I was having fun, but I wasn't really starting my life.
No, you were just getting a job because that's the next step, but you weren't doing the thing that you wanted to do.
Yeah, I was making money. I was, just traveling with friends.
Yeah.
I was spending the money I was making already. There's
no
savings at all. But now that's not possible.
I mean, that KFC dude didn't come up with KFC until he was like 70 or something.
65.
Exactly. Yeah. There's plenty of time to be amazing.
But you'd want to enjoy the millions of dollars that you make when you're young, when you're 30 or 25.
I mean, that is true, but hey, there's plenty of time.
Yeah, I'd rather, I think if I make millions of dollars when I'm 65, 70, I'd rather donate it to a good cause.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you spent the last 25 years learning.
Yeah.
And now you're going into the period where you're supposed to take what you've learned and start sort of building onto the next stage.
Yeah. What have you learned?
I probably haven't learned much.
Really?
I've learned that I should have done things different, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, what have you enjoyed?
I think I've enjoyed meeting the people I've met, with the experience and the stories they've given me. But I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is to keep looking forward. Anything that pushes you back is going to push you forward again. It's just like happiness is a roller coaster ride. You're going to go, you're going to hit rock bottom one day.
Yeah.
100%. Jackson Wilder is going to hit rock bottom.
Isn't this where I am now? Aren't I at rock bottom?
I think the podcast is an achievement for you. Like,
I thought the podcast was rock bottom. I thought that's the thing that you do when you've got nothing else to do. You do a podcast.
But yeah, you're going to hit rock bottom, but one day you're going to come back up again. And that's when you realize that you never stop.
Well, it's learning from your mistakes. It's not being fearful of failure would be a big thing that I'd put out there.
Never.
Mistakes are just lessons learned.
Yeah. There's a saying, calm.
Come on, let's go.
Make fun of my.
Come on, you got your English test coming up. Come on, get it out.
Make fun of my English.
Yeah.
So calm strongs don't make good sailors.
What does that even mean?
Wait. So calm seas don't make good sailors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when the road isn't rocky, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to learn to drive, then it shouldn't be in a straight road. It should be with
But you don't know how to drive.
It's just an example.
It's a shitty example.
Yeah, make fun of my English, make fun of me not being able to drive here, because I know how to drive, just not here.
I watched you sat in my car and tried to drive it, and it was...
Yes, thank you so much for that.
It was full on and I was scared.
One day I shall drive in my car to this place and just call you outside. And then we're going to go for a ride.
Well, when that day comes around, congratulations, because I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Can we wrap this shit up so I can go to bed?
How many minutes?
We're on like 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
You had fun.
Did we?
Oh, okay. I think one of the listeners should message Jackson Wilder to ask if he really had fun, because he's going to be shitty with me always.
Yeah.
And I know that about you.
Till next Wednesday.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
The Halfwit and the Informed, or the Informed Halfwit.
You're not very informed.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Wrapping up, Jackson Wilder and Sahil Baral. See you next week.
The Informed Halfwits, apparently.
What is that again?
You start dying after 24, Sahil.
Why are you reading dark articles, man?
It's what it is.
Don't scare the audience. It's more of a fun podcast.
It is what it is.
Stop with your shitty
We don't start
comments.
dying the moment we're born. We start dying from 24.
Yeah. Don't listen to him.